I didn't unmute it. I didn't. Okay, what I was saying, it's good now. Everybody can hear me now. Yes? I know. No audio sound. Please. You can hear me now? Everybody, please. Hooray, God. Okay. What I was saying was I need to take a breath because this is the new streaming computer, and I realized I had not done a chatting stream yet on this computer. So I basically had to reconfigure almost all of it in 35 minutes. And we got it. We got it taken care of. And I am so appreciative of the three other gentlemen that are joining me tonight on this chatting stream because none of them had technical issues. And so that made my job just a little easier. So I appreciate them. We're basically going to cover all TPF, all of our experience on TPF. So here are the three other individuals that are with me tonight. We'll do our typical introductions. Who are you? What do you do with pinball, or what do you do in pinball? And what was the last game of pinball you played? So we'll start on my left. Hadi, if you want to go first, go for it.
My name's Hadi, Frisco Pinball. I stream pinball, IRL, casino content, which is a lot of fun. As far as where I'm involved with pinball, I've got a collection behind me. I play competitively. I recently was able to make it to the pro rankings, so I'm very happy about that. And I also run a podcast called Wizards and Warriors with my co-host Joe, aka Jland. Where we talk all things competitive pinball, hours and hours of competitive pinball for you to listen to. But yeah, good to be here. Thank you for having me, and good to see everybody at TPF.
Absolutely. What was the last game of pinball you played, Hadi?
I played a lot of X-Men at TPF. I was trying to get that top score on the Stern leaderboards, and I really wanted to kind of put some work into it, see what the fuss was about, and unfortunately there were a lot of rejects, but I still had a good time on it. And yeah, probably X-Men and then Evil Dead at TPF. Another great pin.
Awesome. I have to say, Nikki Z over there in chat did a few weeks ago. We did a giveaway, and I swore that I found the correct person 3 separate times, and it wasn't until reviewing the stream for a third time did I come to find out that Nikki Z was the actual winner. And I'm so sorry that it took this long. But I don't know if you've reached out to Zach yet. Reach out to Zach. He has a banner to give you. So I'm glad that you're here. Thank you for being here. Anyways, Hadi, thank you so much for being here. We'll go directly below him. George, go for it, man.
My name is George. I stream on the channel Don't Panic Flip. Stream pinball, occasionally some games. Sometimes just end up chatting and not playing any pinball. Had a really fun time at TPF. Loved seeing everybody here. And the last game of pinball was Dungeons and Dragons last night.
Awesome. Thank you for being here, George. And last but not least, Cary Hadi.
Hello, everyone. Cary Hadi here. I create video content for your enjoyment here on YouTube, on youtube.com/Cary Hadi. I talk and do everything pinball. The last game I played was probably actually Saturday at TPF, and I believe it might have been the Medieval Madness Merlin's Edition.
Awesome. And yeah, my name's Joel. I do this every Wednesday night. I also do the Triple Drain Pinball podcast. And the last game of pinball I played was actually Cactus Canyon at TPF. I don't know about you. I mean, George said he played last night, but I just, when you're just doing pinball for so many days straight, I don't know. I haven't touched a pinball machine since I got home. I need to. But yes, I played the Cactus Canyon remake. And maybe we'll just start there. But hey, appreciate everybody here. Chat, we are all reading chat. So if you have questions, I know the 3 other guys are typing in chat as well. But yeah, feel free to type away. Quick shout outs. I see Spooky Luke is in chat. Congrats once again on Evil Dead selling out. We're obviously going to talk about that tonight. Huge congratulations to that crew. The Spooky people couldn't be nicer. Another shout out to Christopher Tranchi, who I still don't know. Christopher Franchi, he swears he doesn't have the capacity to do 2 usernames, but I just don't know what's going on with Christopher Tranchi, but I appreciate you being here. So yes. Yeah, let's go right into Cactus Canyon. Does anybody, we'll just work our way around the circle. Hadi, thoughts on Cactus Canyon, the Lyman Sheets code. So this is the upgrade kit. Overall thoughts on anything. Price, did you play it? All that.
I didn't get a chance to play it, but I did look at the details of it, and I think it's a really nice addition. Not only do you get the bash toy, but you get the spinner on the right side,
Yeah, right
on the
here.
right of it. I really like the graphics on the top of the little saloon with the characters. I think it's a really awesome addition. Price wise, I don't know what these normally would go for. I don't know if this is a fair price or not. But I think if you're a Cactus Canyon potential owner, you can get one for a really solid price on the used marketplace right now.
Hmm.
And to add this to your to your pin is a no-brainer for me. It's got additional code, animations, modes, all the things that you were hoping for, and hopefully honor Lyman's legacy in the complete version of this pin. And I think it looks fantastic. I would love to give it a shot. I don't think I'd ever own a Cactus Canyon. There are a few pins I'd rather get into my lineup before that, but I
Sure.
don't think it's a bad addition to anybody's current collection, especially with this coming out.
Cary, you have owned Cactus Canyon, and apologies. I'll apologize for him. He's dying. Okay, Cary's dying. He has a cough. He's going to be working that mute button hard. So, just be prepared. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to like hold
Yeah.
it in as best I can here, but like yeah, if I still had Cactus Canyon, then this would be a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And then the reason why I even, traded my Cactus Canyon is because I kept beating it. I'm just
Okay.
like, I'll just get on there and beat it, and then now what? And I knew that this was going to take another year minimum to come out, and I think it took 2 years. It looks like.
It took a long
But
time. Yes.
it's one of those where so I wanted to see how different it was by playing it. People wanted like gameplay footage, and honestly, I didn't do any gameplay footage because it's kind of hard to record like the differences because the saloon doors are kind of like further back. All you're basically seeing is kind of like the ball come back
Yeah.
to you. It's not really going to hit Bart. But from what I could tell so far, I like it. There was a couple of things or the main thing that I noticed is whenever you first plunge and it does like the roulette wheel of what kind of bonus you're going to get, it looked like it was coded weird, like it went into a lower resolution and it was in a smaller window within the window. That just seemed kind of off to me.
So the logic behind that is tournament players. If you think about it, when do you want to look at the score between the two players playing? And the way that it was originally coded, when you go to plunge, it doesn't show anybody's scores because it was only showing the roulette wheel items. So they redid that so that the right side of the screen is the roulette wheel while the left side still shows the scores. That was the
Okay.
whole reason they redesigned that plunge interface, if that makes sense.
So you could hopefully plunge it just right to get the higher amount of bonus or whatever you're trying to
Yeah,
go
so the roulette wheel is still there, but yeah, it does look different. You are correct about that.
Yeah, but I definitely noticed that the modes are not as easy as they were before to get through them. But I honestly only got one good lengthy game on it, but I could definitely tell the difference in it.
Okay.
And if I had Cactus Canyon still, then yeah, I would get it.
I gotta find. That's it. Okay. Cool Toy. I've met this
All right,
guy
today we're gonna be-
before. He actually has a bunch of videos. I'm gonna pull one of these up here. And maybe we can show. Of course, I'm not logged in. Okay. Here we go. So this is gameplay footage. This is from Cool Toy. That's the YouTube channel. So he has an intro here, but if we go to the actual gameplay, what Cary was talking about was right there. Let's see how there we go. So right here during the plunge, now it's like on the left side is where the scores are, and on the right side is where it scrolls the skill shot. So Doug, yes, Cool Toy, he did an awesome job filming a bunch of the different stuff here. But yeah, I am a Cactus Canyon owner, so this was a no-brainer. Had to buy it. The main thing that I noticed right off the bat was when you hit Bart, you're hitting the door, so the ball is coming back at you, and so it immediately makes the game more dangerous because you basically have to hit the saloon doors. Previously, like to defeat Bart, I think the first Bart was like 3 hits to Bart. Well, now instead of hitting Bart and it dropping down to a trough, and then this trough back here actually ejects backwards into the pops in kind of a safe return. Now those first 2 hits, you're hitting doors and the ball comes back at you. So it immediately makes it a little more dangerous. Unfortunately, the new spinner mech on the right, like as you guys know, most of the satisfaction from ripping a spinner is the audio, and you can't hear the audio at a show at all. So I really don't feel like I experienced the spinner much. So the mech, I mean, overall, the mech made the game harder, in my opinion. But there are some really cool modes that were added to the game, and a lot of those modes are deeper in the game. So that's where I think maybe a casual player, if they played one with or without the code, they may not see some of those new features, except for the plunge is different. But I experienced Martial Multiball. Did any of you guys experience any of the new modes when you played it? Any of the new?
I got the saloon fight.
Yeah, saloon fight.
That.
Yeah, saloon fight, and maybe that's in here somewhere. But the saloon fight, if we look at right here, so saloon fight, the way you actually trigger it is you hit the certain number of spins, and then you can start it at the saloon. And once you start it, it's basically the jackpot is building with every switch hit, and then you cash it out at the beer stein. So the beer stein in the original code really doesn't do much. It's like it's only used for like one mode. So now all of a sudden you kind of have this it's a mode that can just happen at any point, and then all of a sudden you're just focusing on hitting anything but the beer stein to build up this jackpot, and then you cash it out the beer stein. So it's very clear that with Josh Sharp being involved in this, the amount of tournament player or points and the thought of just adding more stuff in the game to kind of distract you or have you do something besides the 5 main goals is really cool. So the saloon fight is really cool. The Martial Multiball is one thing that I got to. And what Martial Multiball did, which I thought was awesome, and maybe we can see it a little bit here. There are 4 bad guys on the playfield. There's one right here, one right here, one right here, and one right here. So what Martial Multiball does is the first shot is to the spinner shot. So it's right. I don't know if you guys can see my mouse. Hopefully you can, chat. But it's the new spinner shot. Well, what Martial Multiball does is it pops up the 2 drop targets on both sides of that shot. So if you can hit between them, it's worth way more points. If you hit either of the drops, they'll drop, and then you have a chance to hit the shot. And then once you hit the shot, then it moves to the center and it does the same thing. It pops up the 2 drop targets on either side, and you're trying to like thread the needle. And then after you do that, then you have to go to the left ramp, and it pops up the 2 drop targets, and you have to thread the needle. Like something like that, where that's one thing I really love about Cactus Canyon is the drop targets and the way that it changes the way you're playing that, or like getting in front of the game, how they get in your way, or they make you play the game in a slightly different way. I love that. Oh, I should be doing, what am I? Yeah, I'm good. So I absolutely love that about the game, and the fact that they're incorporating that more. Another thing that they incorporated was this outlane ball save. Did either of you experience this thing, the gunfight ball save? No. What it does is if it drains out the left lane, it'll pop up all 4 drop targets, and one of them will be lit green. First off, I didn't even know that the drop targets had lights, like different, like RGB lighting under them, but they do. And so one of them will be lit green. And so you basically have one shot to hit the green drop. And if you hit the green drop, you survive. But if you hit any of the other drops, your ball's done. So
that's cool.
Yeah. So it's like little things like that, like just little, like there's just more. They just added more to the game, and now I think you can see to get to beat the game, you have to beat all 4. So if we look at, one, there's Bubba Bart, Big Bart, Bella Bart, and Bandolero Bart. Once you do those 4, then you'll get to Bionic Bart. I don't know. They just made the game deeper. They added more modes. But yet the mech that they added does change gameplay, but not drastically. So I don't know. Personally, you can tell I'm excited because I own the game and I love this game. But I don't know, George, you haven't said anything yet about do you care? Do you care about Cactus Canyon at all, or does this excite you more, less? I don't know. Overall thoughts?
More for sure. I actually really like Cactus Canyon. I didn't get to play it at TPF. I only noticed that the mod and the code was in as I was walking out.
Oh, okay.
on Saturday night. I'm like, I missed that. But I love Cactus Canyon. It's just wasn't deep enough ever to kind of bring in house. So I'm curious, with the update, is there some kind of like difficult to get to wizard mode or ultimate wizard mode added to it?
Yeah, well, so high noon is still the wizard mode. If you look at the main screen of Cactus Canyon, right here in the middle, it's a 5-pointed star. And so to get to high noon, there's 5 things you have to accomplish. Showdown is, I get these mixed up all the time, but I think Showdown is when you do all 4 quick draws. Stampede is when you play all 5 modes. Motherload is when you get a super jackpot in the multi-ball. Combos is you hit 10 combo shots and then beat Big Bart. That's when or beat Bionic Bart. That's when you get through all the Barts. If you do those 5 main tasks, and you can do them in any order, that's how you get to high noon. And like Cary was saying, he kept beating the game all the time. I've only beaten the game 3 times ever. And you can make the game harder or easier on yourself by the physical, like how open are your out lanes, how many extra balls, all that stuff. What they did is they changed, I think it's Stampede. Before, it's just you had to start Stampede. Now you have to like beat Stampede. I think it's Stampede. It's either Stampede or Showdown, but one of them, they've increased the difficulty of the mode. So to actually qualify that one of 5 qualifications, I think it's Stampede. It's so they made it harder. So that's what it is, Showdown. So it's like you have to complete Showdown to light that fifth star. So Cary, I feel like that would be the new thing to deter you from just getting to high noon every single time. And then high noon was a pretty simple multi-ball. They like totally fleshed out high noon now to make it an actual like battle, where you're battling the entire gang. Because I feel like high noon, I mean, you've done it way more than I have, Cary, was more like a celebration.
Yeah, it wasn't like
fireworks.
Just like, all right, just hit a bunch of enemies or whatever, and you're like, congratulations, it's done. I'm like, all right,
yeah. Well, this is.
I think with the saloon doors, this is also going to make the game more chaotic because the ball's coming back to you immediately instead of just hitting it up and hitting Bart, and you got a little time to relax. Now you don't have that time to relax anymore; it's immediately coming back to you. So it makes the game a little more interesting right there.
Absolutely. Real quick, Cliff B. First and foremost, I am so sorry that this guy Cliff was looking for me, and somehow I never saw him. And what he ended up doing, Cliff actually brought 2 packs of Magic cards for my brother. Ended up giving them to Chris Franchi, and I got a text from Chris Franchi saying, "Are you at the down here at the floor?" I think I was doing the trivia at the time, so I came to the floor. He gave them to me. So Cliff, I'm so sorry. I really wish I could have run into you. That obviously didn't happen. It wasn't meaningful. So thank you so much for the Magic cards. I know Jared's very excited for those. So thank you for that. Anyways, yeah, I don't know. I'm excited about this. I know Josh and Lyman, their goal was Cactus Canyon's always been like a top 50 rated game. And the idea is, what do we add to the game to make it like a top 10? And I don't know. It's going to be a little while before they get kits out. But once they get one, I'm going to stream it as quickly as I can. I know I'm excited to put it in the game. But do you think, for the 3 of you, I think Hadi, you said no, but do you think there's any chance a Cactus Canyon may end up being back in your collection, Cary, or you might grab one, George? Maybe not, probably not.
I'm not against it. I just don't. I'm not like excited to get another one again. At least at this point in time.
Yeah. Okay.
I haven't had one yet, so I'd seriously consider bringing one in house, at least for a few months. But it would have to have the upgrade kit. I think, as you guys pointed out, it's a no brainer.
Cary's been coughing so much, my cough has returned. So thank you, Cary, for that. Let's just stick with CGC then, and maybe we'll just start with a little business talk here. Do you think Joe requires appointments? No, that's not true at all. Do you think CGC announcing the Medieval Madness Merlin Edition on the same day as the Lyman upgrade kit, do you think that's a problem? I was listening to Loser Kid podcast, and they're like, they disagreed on that. They're like, why they should have released, their thought was they should have had the Lyman kit released, at one day, and then days later do the Merlin. Like, are you cannibalizing your sales when one company releases multiple products? Does that make sense?
No.
No.
The traffic comes to your
They
site
sold all
regardless.
1,000. I think
Yeah,
that's a success.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
not a good take.
Okay.
You're getting people, you're getting everybody's eyes. You want as many eyes that are on TPF on you because everybody else is trying to gather those views and those clicks and those hits.
Yeah.
So if you come out with a barrage of, look, we've got this, if you own our one pin, Cactus Canyon, and also the thing you've been waiting for a long time, we're also selling this and we sold out. So I don't think that's a good take at all.
Okay. Yeah, I see Zach is here in chat. No one would pick between the two, apples and oranges. Most bought both. I do know, I've heard that the percentage of people that upgraded their seat, like if a dealer sold you a Cactus Canyon and you still own it, I think the adoption rate for the current owners is pretty high. So I think they've sold well. It is funny while looking at Pinside. Most people in the Cactus Canyon thread bought it, but there's a handful of people that are like, can I just buy the hardware? They're like 12.5 is too much. And if you're saying the cost is the software and all the extra software that was coded in, can I just buy the hardware? And I just
That's a new one.
I just don't get that. I don't understand. I just don't get that. Anyways,
toppers are more expensive than this entire kit, and you can actually play this damn thing.
Yeah. Rick asked in chat, Cary or Joel purchase Medieval Madness? Anybody out of the four of us, did anybody purchase Medieval Madness?
I wanted to.
Okay. What I will say is I'm on the list. I'm on Zach's list. I've been on his list for a few years. I'm excited to stream it, and I think that's going to be really telling. I love having Cactus Canyon in the collection. I have a small collection. It's just such an approachable game to all players that Medieval Madness may be great right next to it, or it may replace it, or it may not. I don't know, but I know how much I've enjoyed Cactus Canyon that I want to give Medieval Madness a shot. I know we'll stream it as soon as we can, so that'll give me a chance or a good taste of having it in the house. But I'm really excited about it. I don't know. Do you guys have any thoughts on Medieval Madness? I mean, we can dive into this a little bit, or it's Medieval Madness.
Well, I mean, I guess we could discuss, there's always a discussion about price and everything. I think that's what everybody's going to talk about, it being $12,000. And
yeah,
it's like, so I guess some people want to get clarification, more than likely, the difference between this version and what was the Pinnacle, the Royal Edition.
Mm-hmm. The only difference that I can see is it's Merlin blue powder coat instead of black.
Mm-hmm.
And then I know the apron is different. I think, Cary, you actually pointed that out.
Yes.
Let me see if I can find video of it.
Out that basically shines better light. And I think it's, is it RGB lighting throughout?
Was that not in the Royal Edition?
I don't know for sure. That's why I'm asking anybody in chat if you guys remember or know if you already have one.
I think it was
Royal Edition RGB.
I think RGBs were in the Royal.
Yeah, because when it came out, I remember is when they did the RGB upgrade kits. Zach here, I found it cool that Medieval Madness sold more units on the third time it was released than all of the releases at TPF combined. Wow. Yeah, the Royal had RGB. So once again, shout out to Cool Toy. This is his footage of the game. You can kind of see it down below. The way the apron is, it's almost like it, if this is the top of the apron, it almost dips back in and then back out. And they put LEDs in there, and a lot of them, just to shine more light on the playfield. Which honestly, I mean, everybody here has streamed a pinball game before. The amount of lighting that's on this game right now to capture this is pretty impressive for at Expo. So the fact that they added more lighting to the game I'm all for that.
Well, I will tell you also, they had like 2 standard Medieval Madnesses over there, I want to say also.
Mm-hmm.
And I played the standard and I played the Merlin's Edition, and then definitely drastic difference in how well the playfield is lit up on Merlin's Edition compared to the standard.
Okay. TZD, Royal would be my pick of the two because the 2 back panels in the coin door were powder coated. That is an interesting take, and what he means by that, and I thought the same thing. You can't see it in this picture, but what we saw in person was these back hinges So blue, 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 blue. Back hinges, black.
I pinpointed that out in the
Yeah.
setting up video too.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know how I feel about this, but that could just be prototype.
Yeah.
But in my head, in every restoration I've done, I always do my hinges the same color as the rails and everything.
Which I totally agree. That stood out to me as well. And then the fact that the coin door is black while everything else is blue. So I don't know the answer to that. Does CGC, maybe Zach, does CGC typically color match the coin door? So no, like Monster Bash LE right here, you can see it right here. That's blue armor, but it's still a black coin door. So I don't know. I mean, that's an interesting question. I would assume the feedback, I would assume most people would want the coin door to match. Black to match coin door was classy to me. I'm not a speaker panel powder guy. I don't know.
A solid black coin door is the safe route.
Yeah.
But I would prefer the hinges match the rails and the legs.
Oh, Michael in chat here. Someone asked on Facebook. They responded, the hinges would be powder coated, but not the coin door. That's fair. I'm okay with that. I can live in that world. But yeah, I'm excited about it. Yeah.
They could powder coat it. This is just their prototype. This is the only one that they made. So they probably just got it together to show everybody what
show it off.
Will more than likely look like. But the final product, I would hope they will have the hinges of the pretty blue color.
Okay. Yeah, I'm excited for it. It is CGC, so it's probably going to be a while. It's probably going to be a while before we see all these. One thing that is interesting, I think all 1,000 sold out like within 24 hours or sold through. So I don't know if any dealers have any left. But I've heard that they apparently are communicating or reaching out to dealers to see if they feel they should make more. Do you guys have thoughts on that? I mean, this is the third run of Medieval Madness from CGC. Like, should they make a standard edition? Should they up to 1,500? I don't know. Thoughts on production there?
Me, it's like, would I want this one? It's the prettiest one, or arguably with the color of blue on it. But me personally, I don't need a topper. I don't care if it's powder coated. I just want the game. So if they were to run another run, I'd like it just to be the low model of it. I just enjoy the gameplay experience more than anything else, and I can always do the fancy stuff later.
Okay, so you would prefer stainless steel everything and no topper. So if this game
I could get a powder coated what they got for $300.
True. So $11.99. So no art blades, because it says mirror blades. So no shaker. $11.99. What would you price that at, or what would you want that to be at? A standard edition, a classic edition, something like that.
Well, the Royal wasn't that 10 whenever it came out. 3-4 years ago.
So you're hoping for
15?
Was it? No, it was not that much.
I don't know.
I want to say
the Royal was insane.
I want to say, hell, Zach would know more than anybody else in this damn thing. He sold them.
Yeah. They would literally not do a classic. They would do a special edition that would come with RGB lighting and XL display and upgraded audio with speaker lighting. So yeah, that's what we're saying, Zach. But it would be no, it's all the fancy stuff. No mirror blades, no shaker, no topper.
They could get another 1,000 at 10K for a lower edition, just on almost operators alone. It seems like.
But you're saying 10K.
They're probably the operators don't care about the toppers. Okay. I mean, some do, but there are enough people that want to get it in their establishment to attract customers.
Well, I'm excited, but I think it's going to be a little while. I think it's going to be a little while before we see anything out of this. But if I know I personally was waiting on one of these, I'm really excited to stream it and have one in the house. And this might be a game I end up owning. We'll have to see. Let's go, George. Where do you want to go next? I think CGC will cross that. We'll cross that off the list. What manufacturer? Evil Dead. Okay. We all hated it, right? Everybody.
Game sucks.
Game sucks. Go ahead, George. What are
the next one?
What are your initial thoughts of Evil Dead? I have one shaking its head at me right behind me. But go ahead. Be aware that Spooky Luke is in chat, and he is a very sensitive man. So just
okay.
Yeah.
So I went to TPF really wanting to play Evil Dead. It's not a theme that does a lot for me, despite the fact that I've probably seen Army of Darkness 15, 20 times. Grew up Evil Dead 2 of all things, and Army of Darkness. My brother is huge into horror. He wanted me to go check it out. I took a bunch of pictures. If you remember TPF last year, not this year, there was a myriad of issues with like the left flipper dying, I think, on a bunch of the Looney Tunes games. There was balls that were disappearing on not Halloween, but Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And I say this is to contrast, because I think I played 5 of like the 10 Evil Deads at TPF this year. I didn't come across one issue on any game. Theme integration, I can't believe I could hear it at TPF, but the Deadites laughing in the background, the layout, I just can't get over, again, coming up to that game and the fact that there was 2 lanes on the shooter lane, and that you have to hit, and it's kind of fun to hit the 2 shotgun stand-ups, the shotgun shell stand-ups.
Yep.
Just that they click a little bit on both sides. I walked away completely mind blown the first time I played it, and then I came back and played it another 4 times on 4 other machines. Not one issue experienced, and every time I was like, I want to play more. I feel like I haven't found all the shots yet, or I only experienced such a tiny part of it. So I walked away thinking that Evil Dead was just magnificent.
Yeah. Feel free to go into this as much as you want, George, but yeah, I mean, you've owned a lot of games. You owned Ultraman, so you have had a spooky in your house. You've streamed a spooky.
Many spookies.
And I'm not here to put words in your mouth, but I feel like your ownership of it wasn't the greatest. So what are your thoughts now playing this or comparing? I don't know. What are you know what I'm asking. Yep.
Started with TNA, ran into issues, but Spooky has amazing support. They hit me up immediately when I got a new unbox TNA direct. It was awesome. Ran into issues with Rick and Morty. Once again, Spooky, amazing support. They were there lickety split to deal with any issues. I lost a bunch of cash on Rick and Morty, which kind of sucked, but it happens. Ultraman, on the other hand, I'm in. Assuming that Scott and others are still involved. Ultraman, they're only making 500. They were doing 2 different licenses on one, and not only another just myriad of issues. The game kind of wasn't fun to play, and then the software took years to get to a point where it was okay, and man, lost so much on that game. That eliminated a game from the lineup. Actually, I lost so much on that one.
Yeah.
So, walked away thinking I think I'm good on Spooky until I see something different, and I guess I can say it from the show. I finally saw something different with Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Something changed on the QA side. Something changed in the engineering side. There's a lot of changes, and I thought it was awesome.
I will say I spent a lot of time in their booth. One because Bug streamed with us the other night. I know Spooky Luke was in chat the 2 times we streamed this game, just talking to them. They had a guy there. I unfortunately don't remember his name. It was I think it started with a D. I could be wrong, but he's basically like their operations manager, and the amount of work that they've put to review all of their manufacturing processes. And they knew the amount of stuff that was going to be in this game that they had to step up their game. They had to improve. And then on top of that, when I streamed Looney Tunes, it crashed on us multiple times during the stream. Bug told me that they basically, for a week straight, just did nothing but testing, trying to figure out what it was that was causing those crashes, and they finally figured it out. And so I can say honestly, I've had 0 issues with the software of Evil Dead having it in my house. I've had 0 mechanical issues with Evil Dead having it in my house. I asked the Spooky team after 3 days straight. I never saw them have a lifted playfield, and they said we had to fix one thing on one game. It was just a metal that had bent a little too far, and I don't think they had any software resets. And so that alone is that is a night and day difference to the Spooky that I think we've all experienced at shows where they were resetting them every 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I
want to add one more thing while I still got the mic here really quick, because somebody said, what about the wide body and how does it compare to other wide bodies.
Yeah.
I know there's so many people that really love Alien, but to me, every time I play that game, every time I hit the flippers, I'm reminded by it feels like it was a waste to use that wide body. Like the shots don't line up. They're it's just all of that space, and it doesn't feel like it was used effectively. And I might get crap for that, and I'm okay with it. I feel that every time I step up, there isn't any wasted space on Evil Dead. They abuse the hell out of the fact that this is a wide body, and there's nothing but shots all over the playfield. That once again, even after 5 games on 5 different machines, I feel like I never got the opportunity to explore them all.
Yeah. I've been chilling the heck out of this game between streaming it, Triple Drain. Cary, overall thoughts on your Evil Dead experience?
Well, like I've already stated, this is probably one of the worst games of 2025. It's pretty obvious my thoughts and opinions on this.
Yeah.
No, I really hate to keep talking great about Spooky in this game, because people are gonna think like, oh, he's just shilling for him or whatever, and it's like, no, I pretty much tell you how I feel about a game. Like I've said before, whenever I first went to see it, whenever I was first shown the game, I was like, this is it. And people would know that I said it, that this was their Godzilla.
Yeah.
And that was a common quote that was used. Like this is their pinnacle kind of thing. And that's where we're at with it. And it's one of those where after seeing this, it's like I am so curious of how they're going to top it.
Yeah.
And so, and that's the way that they keep trending, is this is basically like, this is our best so far. Then I've got some high expectations for what's down the road from them. I
completely agree. What I have learned is, or the rumor is, that I'm trying to think of the phrasing they used, but basically what I'm going to miss this pin. I've loved everything about this pin. When it comes to the modes. I mean, it's beautiful. I love the way it shoots. I would own this pin, but I can't, and it's because of the way it looks. It's because of what it is. I've shown pictures of, like, it is under 3 blankets at all time. So it's a pin I cannot leave up in this house. So I've heard that the next pin is supposed to be more family friendly, and so I'm very intrigued when that comes out. I'm assuming a year from now. What that theme is, and if they keep going down this type of pathway of having fun creative mechs, a fun creative layout, and then modes that are genuinely fun to progress through. Had some really good conversations with Ben Hecht and Hilton, who designed all their rules. I don't know, they have something special here. They really have something special here. Hadi, you're I think technically you're the highest rated player out of the 4 of us. Is this good pin? Does this shoot well? Or do you does it have the points?
This is a fantastic evolution of Spooky Pinballs, learning from their mistakes and coming out with a pin that everybody can enjoy. Would this be in a tournament setting? I don't know, because one, I haven't played it enough to judge that. I think everything about this, it playing like a fast standard body, but it being in a wide body shell, was excellent. I think the sound package, the art are all just terrific. And it just makes me happy to see when a company, I don't mean listens to its customers, because you don't want Pinside running your company and giving you all these, taking every idea from there, but actually listening, kind of like Turner Pinball did with Ninja Eclipse. But it's fantastic. I will say, the one thing I didn't particularly feel too confident about was the UI. I feel like it got cluttered at times when I was looking up to see where I need to go. But I think with so much packed into it, you kind of have to pick and choose of what you're going to put on the screen.
Yeah.
And there are times when it was just, it's not triggering any ADHD, but it's just triggering like, okay, which spot am I supposed to look at? And that just goes to the whole thing with kind of telling Stern we don't need 4K assets in the LCD, because we're not looking up every 5 seconds. I think this is a Grand Slam home run for Spooky, and I'm really happy that it came away. Everybody came away with good impressions. As far as I mean, I guess my only other thing is getting used to that sling flipper. I don't like the idea of a second button, kind of why I still haven't gotten used to the P3s
Okay.
on the flipper sides. I think the best bet is to always tie everything you can to the action button. So I know I talked with you about what's a good use of it, and you mentioned getting up to left orbit, and I
This
finally
left
got
orbit
a
right
hold of
here.
that.
That
Yeah,
shot in the hand, but the left orbit
I
is
finally got a hold of it,
with the
but
sling flipper. Yeah.
I'm glad they tried something new. It's kind of like Turner Pinballs on Merlin's Arcade, the tap pass button. Is it
Yeah.
necessary? No, but it's cool that they're trying new things, and congrats to them. I'm very very happy that we have another viable company that's making great pins.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like I said, I spent a lot of time in that booth, and I heard nothing but great things from a lot of people. I heard there was an operator, and he's like, "I'm going to be very honest with you guys. I've operated your pins in the past, and I had a lot of issues with them. And I told myself I would never buy a Spooky again. But after playing this and seeing how you've improved." And the consistency of these games and the way that they've played over the course of this entire weekend, he's like, I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna give you like, I don't know. They've earned a lot. They've earned a lot of respect and I think overall just maybe they turned some people over this this weekend or to give them another shot. But Zach did say up in the chat that if we can reach 200 viewers, he's going to do a giveaway. So I'm all for giving away Zach's stuff. I love doing that. It's great. It's so let's get there. So we're 14 people away. 14 people away. 13 now. 13 now. So I cannot see that number unless I'm actively looking at that screen. So if we happen to hit 200, let me know in chat. Hadi, where do you want to steer the bus next? Who do you want to talk about?
Let's go to Merlin's Arcade. Why don't we do that?
Merlin's Arcade. Dude, I am huge shout out to Cool Toy, man. Doug, this dude, he has it all. I don't even have to like this is great. This is great. Sure, we'll give Range Rover a little ad revenue there and here we go. We're on to the next one. Hadi, go for it. What are your thoughts on Merlin's Arcade and why did you buy one?
Well, I didn't buy one. I'm happy they have I'm happy they've come out not so quickly, but come out with a good look at their next pin, especially considering they sold through all of their Ninja Eclipse inventory and are pushing through to assemble all of those. I thought when I looked at it, it didn't really drag me in. I don't know if it's that art style that just doesn't speak to me. Or kind of the idea of another original license. I was really hoping, maybe number 2 would be their license theme. They would build upon that. But honestly, after playing it, it felt good. The shots, it's so cliche, but the shots felt smooth and satisfying.
Mm-hmm.
I was worried about that foosball spinner being too heavy because I know that regular, regular size foosball table, you're looking at something that's kind of got some weight to it, some girth, if you will. And shooting that spinner was very, very satisfying. And I've played it a few times. They did lift the playfield for a lot of people so that everybody could see how wonderfully neat it is and how everything is.
The technology under it, is impressive.
Yeah, and it's very clean. It's a nice look into where they're going. Again, I'm very happy that they listened to everybody on Ninja Eclipse and made some really good changes to make it more palatable for the average pinball player or newcomer. I think the modes here, you're kind of in an arcade and you're battling all the bosses that are attributed to each part of an arcade, like a hoops, a basketball game.
Yep.
I got into the multi-ball through the virtual locks on the left ramp, and that was my goal because I wanted to see how it worked. But they've done a really good job of presenting a clean package as far as art, sound, and overall gameplay. I think this is going to be another good release for them. Will they sell all 500 legendary editions? I don't know about that. I like their 100 number to kind of get them more financing. But the good news is they have a non-legendary edition at a more affordable price.
Yeah. few things. You said art style. I made a mistake on Triple Drain. I said this was Matt Andrews. It's not. It's Brad Dukes. Brad Dukes. So it's the same guy that did the Ninja Eclipse art, and he did the Looney Tunes art. So he has he's got a fantastic style to his art. It's fantastic art. But yeah, it is more kid friendly. It is more kiddish. And just a basic overview of the game. I mean, it is a fan layout, but basically every shot represents a different night. And if you hit that shot enough, you will qualify that night, or you can battle that night, and then you have to hit the scoop, which I found to be the hardest shot in the game. And then once you start a battle, you end up hitting that shot more to defeat the knight. And I think they have a whole thing of like, once you defeat 3 or 4 knights, then you do a duel where you're actually dueling. There's like this, there's this bad sorcerer lady in the back. You duel her, then you have this big, beefy, bad knight guy in the back. You duel him, then you'll duel Merlin, and then the final wizard mode is you duel King Arthur. So there's a whole thing. There's a whole thing here. There's lots to this. So yeah, Cary. Wow, thank you, Adam, for the super chat. Appreciate that. Cary or George, thoughts? Have you played it? What are your thoughts on Merlin's Arcade?
Go, Cary.
You want me to go first? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's start out with saying that for those that don't already know this, is that this wasn't the full game that we were playing at TPF. The actual physical ball lock was disabled
In the back right,
because there's a trough underneath the beer keg back there that would hold, I think, 3 balls for the multi balls. So we had virtual ball lock going on for the TPF. So there's an aspect of the game that we're not really experiencing at that point. Along with that, it's like I was trying to decide whether or not I liked this game or Ninja Eclipse more. I feel like I like these rules better, but I like the layout of Ninja Eclipse better.
Okay.
It's like, because like you said, it's a fan layout, and I'm not usually leaning. I like the more obtuse layouts, and the repeatable loop shot on Ninja Eclipse but is something I really enjoyed. But this one right here, I did have that one more game aspect to it.
Sure.
So after I play a game, I'd let the person go behind me, and then I'd get behind again and go, all right, I'm going to play one more game kind of thing. I just feel like I needed a little more time on it, kind of. I wanted to get more experience with it. And there's a couple of notes I gave to Chris because he agreed when it comes to the code, but the code is literally like, I think he put it at 0.57 at this point in time. So they're still working on that, obviously.
58.3.
0.58?
That's what it says on the screen. 0.58.3 Texas Pinball Festival is what it said on the screen. Go ahead.
I mean, I did have that feeling of like, all right, I'm going to play one more game kind of thing. And I think the way the rules were, I was enjoying the rules better than it was on Ninja Eclipse.
Sure. I could definitely say I understand the rules on this game easier than Ninja Eclipse. And that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, who's the market of, who's this game marketed towards? Do I think this is marketed towards, like a high-end tournament player to just grind away at? I don't. And then it's like, okay, is it marketed for, just a guy that wants to have a very simple, easy to understand, kid-friendly pinball machine in his basement? I think so. But I know pricing-wise, this game is the same as a Stern Premium, right? So it's not the cheapest option. It's just, I think what it is, I enjoyed. I thoroughly enjoyed playing it, but am I tempted to own one personally? I'm no. I don't know. I don't know. George, you played it, right? Did you
Yeah.
I don't know. What are you thinking?
It's funny, everybody called it a fan layout. It has an upper flipper, but it is a fan layout. And it does feel like that upper flipper was just kind of thrown in. In fact, by my second game, I would not use the upper flipper because all it did was put the ball into chaos. It felt like unnecessarily.
It's incredibly low, like incredibly low for a third flipper. Yeah, but go ahead.
There's that. I get the feeling, because they haven't done licensed themes, that Turner is playing a really slow game here as they figure out all of their hardware, their software. They build some sort of a base library that allows them to quickly iterate through games. They took the innovations that did actually happen from, what was Turner? What was the bad company? Deep Root.
Yeah.
They took some of those innovations and now they're building a system that will allow them, I think, to knock it out of the park eventually, but I
Okay.
don't think they've had a real designer. The code has been pretty, but it's okay. This one's definitely an improvement, but I imagine 2 or 3 games down the road, these guys are going to get a license. They're gonna hire someone to do a really cool design, some well-known designer, and they may bring in someone to do some really fantastic animations and someone who knows how to do code for competitive reasons or just code in pinball right now.
Like
And
rule
I think
design?
they will then yeah, rule design. So
Okay.
bring in a man, I'm struggling with names right now, but a Bowen Karens or
Hadi.
someone along those lines, or a Hadi. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Bring in a Hadi, and they are going to knock
Yeah.
something out of the park because when they pull up the underside of that playfield, it is gorgeous. It's kind of a work of like engineering art. I
Yeah.
don't want to call it like a P3, but they're doing something cool, and I imagine they're figuring out their tooling, they're figuring out how to manufacture. And to me, the fact that they keep doing these kind of no name themes with kind of like joke art to it is really just they got to get something out there to help prove that they can make games. And I'm just waiting for their big swing.
Sure.
Right, you're right there on the dot there, George. When it comes to basically trying to make a name for themselves, this is something that I've had many discussions with Chris, and he's well aware that he's got to build up a reputation. You got to earn your stripes in this industry, and that's something that he knows that he's working towards. He's going through all the fights and battles right now. It took him a while to get to where people aesthetically appreciated Ninja Eclipse kind of thing, and then eventually he sold out of those merely by pretty much word of mouth and people actually playing the game. And so this title is just a progression in that direction to be able to go, we're going to sell these, we're going to build them, we're going to ship them out to people, and people are going to start looking at him as a reliable manufacturer.
Yeah. And I talked
Doing it
to
right.
I talked to a guy at TPF. I think his name was Curtis. It may even be the Curtis C that's here in chat. He had one of the first production Ninja Eclipse games, and he has it in his collection, and he loves it. He just said, he goes, of all the games I've had 0 mechanical or software issues with the game. Like, he's super impressed with the overall build quality and just the way the game plays, that I know he ordered one of these. I mean, he's all in. And I mean, we've seen that with a lot of new manufacturers. There's people like when Spooky first came out, you have the people that are going to buy just to support Spooky. But I do think Turner Pinball is gaining the respect of the pinball community. They're listening. I think this game is an improvement on their last game personally. And I agree that I think with the right license moving forward, I mean, I'll be curious to see where they're at. In a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. There was a chat that said it is Turner Pinball that had all the Deep Root licenses. So technically, I think they have like Whitewater 2. I think they have some of the other stuff that was being worked on. And then I saw another question in chat. Was it talking about the finesse flippers? Thoughts on those? Did you guys? I loved them. I thought they were great, but they're also
Great.
just. I don't know if I need them.
It's a nice little gadget to add, but it's not crucial to the pin, but it's nice to see that it can be done.
Yeah.
In case you want to learn how to tap pass and take the shortcut route, everybody deserves to tap pass once in their life.
Dude,
So.
I was tap passing all over the place. I loved it. I don't know. Did either you guys? Yeah, George, you were about to say something.
I'm just waiting for P3 to add that to one of the 3 buttons or 5 buttons on the side, because why not? You're not using those other buttons right now. Make it one of those. It's fun. It's add something cool.
Yeah, I agree. Cary, you're I can't tap pass. This is the only thing I
I'm
do.
evidently so bad at pinball that I can mess up a fucking button. Sorry for my language, but like even with the finesse button, I still was screwing it up. I'm like, how the button's designed to be to where it just finesses it, but I still mess it up somehow or another. So I was like, screw it, I'm not going to use the buttons.
Well, I do know that I was messing with them, and then the thing is, you can't push them in and hold them. Like, if you push them in and hold them, it doesn't hold up the flippers. The whole button. So it's like you go to catch up or trap up or something, and if you're on the wrong flipper button, it just goes like they just tap. It's like, crap. Like, it just let it go. Apparently we hit 200. So
yeah, there's 201.
Okay. Giveaway questions. where are you going to get your Harry Potter pinball machine? The answer is you email Zach and flip it out. Okay, so let's do that giveaway real quick before we forget, and then Cary, I'm going to let you steer the bus wherever you want to take us. So let's see how I can rig it this week. I actually have Nightbot set up. Please don't embarrass me and just work. That's the goal. Oh, baby. Okay, so it's working. The way that this, and okay, I'm just going to show this because it's a chatting stream. Everybody says rigged. Everybody says rigged. This is called Nightbot, everybody. What you do is, you guys use this, right? Is this how you guys do giveaways? Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So the way this works, everybody rigged. I know. So the way this works is you just have to comment anything you want. So obviously the right answer is if you're going to buy any of these games. Oh, that's another thing. Ninja's, Merlin's Arcade. Zach has sold some of these. So I think the chances, I talked to Chris Turner, there may be a chance we'll stream it. We might stream it and maybe I'll take, maybe I'll just fall in love with the game. I think it would be fun to stream the game, and see how deep we can get into it. But, obviously, we've streamed Evil Dead. I think we will stream Medieval Madness. I know for a fact we will stream Cactus Canyon with the add-on kit. We might stream Merlin's Arcade. So I think, hopefully. And then flipping out another thing, we're almost at 6,000 subs. Almost at 6,000 subs. We're just like, I don't know, 15 or so away. So
when are you going to be streaming the Cactus Canyon and the Merlin's edition? Like what, 2026?
As soon as they can get me a kit is the answer. Cary. I have faith that Cactus Canyon will probably happen before. But if you look at the screen, everybody, we have 71 entries, and this is how I rig it. Okay, I click the button that says choose a winner, and it tells me the winner. That's how. If I don't win, I'm unsubbing. Okay, this
uncheck everybody button.
Everybody, yes. All right, I'm gonna give it about one more second. Maybe. All right. So once again, thank you for the 200 people that are here. I appreciate you all. If you're watching this after the fact on YouTube, join us live Wednesday night. Here we go. I'm clicking the button. We have 75 entries, and the winner is click. Chris, no, this is why people think things are rigged, because I call out names and then that's the person who wins. Christopher Tranchi, who apparently is not Christopher Franchi's other account, is the guy that I didn't do anything. Okay. I didn't do anything. Christopher Tranchi, are you here? Rigged. I know. He's here. This is the
Chris
second question.
The account.
This is the second question. Where are you located? Please be outside the U.S. because we all want it to be outside the U.S. It makes shipping for Nicole Minnie so great. Christopher Tranchi, if you say Michigan, we know this is not real. So where, Christopher Tranchi, where are you located? Because I know California. Okay. Well, Christopher Tranchi, I appreciate you. Thanks for being here. Email Zach at Flipping Out. And I don't know what we're giving away. Zach, what did we give away? I don't know. We gave away something, but there, everybody saw it. Everybody saw how rigged that was. Jeez. All right. That's how these things go, right? That's how these things go. Christopher Tranchi. Jeez. Congrats, man. Congrats to the win. All right, Mr. Buff Driver. Where are we going, Cary? What do we want to talk about next?
Let's go down the rabbit hole, right? How about the portal hole?
Let's go down the portal hole. All right. Let's do it, man. Let's do it. Cary, we'll let you start. Because I know George has opinions. I bet Hadi has. I'm excited. I'm excited here. So, go ahead, Cary. Overall thoughts. Once again, shout out to Cool Toy for the stream. We're just gonna be mooching on your content all night, man. Appreciate you. But yeah, Cary, go for it.
All right. So for me, like for those that have watched a little bit of my content when it comes to speaking about Portal and everything, is that I love the theme of Portal. I have the shirts. I have like a movie poster that Valve created back when Portal 2 got released. I've got the co-op toy action figures over there. I'm a big fan of the theme. Mm-hmm. And it was one of those at first when I heard that Multimorphic was doing it. For a moment, I'm like, oh no. But then I was like, well, that would make sense, because if you're doing it on a traditional play field, you're not going to be able to go through the full experience that Multimorphic can offer with how the play field changes with the display. And the game especially in Portal 2, your scenery changes a lot.
Yeah.
And when it comes to doing all the different test chambers, that changes throughout the game. So I think when it comes to the platform, Portal is definitely the platform that it needs to be on. When it comes to the gameplay experience, when I first played it, it was on the extended edition. And that additional ramp, the right side ramp, like I said, this is the first time I played it. The very first time I played it, that felt very janky. It felt like it was just like it wasn't very secure. I didn't trust it. It felt like I was getting a lot of rejects. And I talked to Jerry about it. He says, like, yeah, we need to adjust it. And so evidently they did adjust it, I guess, later on in the show, because they cannot be touching the actual display because it'll cause issues. So it technically has to be so many millimeters above the actual display.
Oh, because that's where the LiDAR beams are?
Yeah.
That makes sense. So if it touches...
Yeah, so it has to be hovering just a certain amount above the display, but whenever the ball makes contact with it, then it'll actually touch it, and that's when you get that. So once I played it, I think the next day, because the lines were always ridiculously long, because it's kind of a long player. I noticed that as well, because I found that out whenever I played it again on the standard edition, and I was like, okay, I'm starting to feel bad. I don't want to be the guy that I'm always telling people I don't like at shows where I'm going to GC the dang game. I just want to get a good experience of it and then move on. So after a while, I was like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and drain and call it done. So I think standard edition, for those of you that are already in on Multimorphic, it's almost like a no-brainer because this is their best option so far, in my opinion. As far as like whether or not you want to go extended edition or your standard edition, I think starting out, go standard. You're going to get a lot of the features that you enjoy. It's going to shoot the same way as everything else, and you can always get the extended down the road.
So just to clarify all that real quick, everything that you see in front of the scoops here, so this right ramp, there's this other, it's like a gel flow is what they're calling it. It's like an eject. This thing, this return, and then over here, there's an actual wall that comes out and another return, and then there's a spinner in this area. Right there, there's a spinner. So that whole mech and that whole mech, that is the extended edition, those mechs. They sell this module without all those mechs. And what you end up with is a virtual spinner over here, which actually works surprisingly well. And then they just code it around, wherever you'd normally shoot this ramp, they've changed stuff. So there's the standard edition. And if you buy the extended edition and you're lazy and you don't want to like put in those extra pieces, you can choose whatever you want. It's, based on what's installed in the game, it's either going to give you the standard experience or the full extended experience. So, Cary, what
sound
other
effects,
thoughts?
music.
Yep.
I mean, audio-wise, they nailed it. I was grinning because they implemented a lot of the audio assets into the game, especially GLaDOS. That was one of the main things I wanted to hear, was to have her making fun of me while I'm playing or missing things, and because she had so many quotables in the game. So that was one thing I really appreciated. I really enjoyed it. I think it's like I said, their best game yet.
Awesome. George, you at one point were, by the way, look right here. This is the faith plate. If he hits up the middle, it'll throw that plate to the back and lock a ball. There's a little mini play field over here where you have to hit a cube. That's how you can start locking the balls. But yeah, next time he shoots up the middle, you'll see the ball be thrown back.
I don't know if the faith plate will get old. It didn't get old when I was playing it because the sound effects that go along with it. But I was like, that's really enjoyable.
George, at one point, I know, once again, I'm not trying to air your dirty laundry, but I know at one point you were in on getting a P3, and then you ended up not doing that. So with that in mind, you've been right there getting this system. What are your thoughts on Portal? I don't know. Does this bring you a little closer to completing that purchase, or what are you thinking?
I think at this point there are 3 different games finally that I could get behind on Portal, between Princess Bride, Final Resistance, and Portal. Artwork is fantastic. The callouts are awesome. They got Mark Silk. They got the original lady, I think, from the Portal series. I'm not a Portal super fan, but man, the fact that what they added in terms of the story is now canon in Portal, I think, is really cool.
Oh,
and
okay.
So it was this is now part of Portal canon, which I thought was awesome again. And the developers from P3 who worked on this, I spoke with Ian and of course Steven, who did Princess Bride and others.
Yeah.
Just the coolest, most invested people ever. And once again, now you have the lower playfield. And really cool, I don't think a lot of people caught this, is that if you get into P3, you don't pay the ridiculous price for the module. You can get into the P3 and get the full or the LE version of this at the standard P3 price. So it's only like $12.50 instead of you end up saving like $2,000 or $2,500 in cash if you look. So they're taking, I don't know if they're taking a hit, but if you buy the P3, you get the LE module for a lot cheaper. As opposed to if you just buy the module, it's the price of a Pro Stern, which weirdly I think is something they said that that wasn't their intent.
So 12.5, that's the extended edition, and that's the full game with the extended edition. While you're saying what would be crap?
If you just get the module, it's $5,500.
Ah, okay. Compared to like Princess Bride limited edition. Oh,
even the standard edition, it's like $2,500.
Oh,
it's a massive difference.
Okay. Oh, I think it's because it comes with the topper. But still, I see what you're saying. Yep. Go ahead.
So if you're investing in P3 for the first time, now is the time to do it. This game looks great. That said, be aware. While we were at the show, I started. They brought only 3 machines.
Yeah.
And those 3 machines had a 40-minute wait, I'd say, for the majority of the show because it was popular.
Yeah.
I started on the far left machine, and for some reason that was identified pretty quick as one that wasn't. None of the lock shots were working on it. So I was really surprised after putting a decent game on it that I got 1 lock towards the end. But, the P3 guys were all there. They were taking notes, literally with their physical notebooks, which I thought was awesome. Left came back, put another game on the middle one, which is more popular. That also was the one earlier in the day. It didn't seem to have any issues with any of the lock shots. It was probably about 50 or 60% success rate. And I'm not basing that on like actually having kept track of some of those, but it wasn't 100% and it wasn't 90%.
Yeah.
Probably on par with Stern's the new D&D game with the Physmo shot that shoots and gets magnet locked onto the right side.
Yep.
That one's also pretty inconsistent. So I'd say it's on par with that. And then finally you get over to the right, the third machine that didn't have the lower playfield, and that machine is just the base version. And I think P3 only just decided maybe shortly before TPF that they were even going to sell a version that didn't have the extended. So the rule set on that one was kind of, it just wasn't ready.
Yeah,
keep in mind, of course, as I say all of this, that Steven, Ian, and I think it's Michael is the third developer on that team. These guys are pot invested, love everything they're doing, genuinely care about the license. There's no way they're going to let some part of this kind of fall through. And I absolutely believe they're going to be pumping out new code constantly, but the non-LE version was really hard to play.
Okay. Yeah, Hadi, once again, you're a pretty good player, tournament player. I know Colin McAlpine is involved at P3 when it comes to rules and adding rules for players like yourself. I know Robert Byers with Top Row Pinball. I know he owns a P3 and he loves Princess Bride and Weird Al. So I don't know. Overall thoughts. I don't know. Is this a tempting platform?
I won't repeat too much of what's been said. I will say I only got to play the standard kit because the lines for everything else.
Okay.
In between trying to do tournament qualifying at TPF, it was just too long to wait. I do love that virtual spinner. I love the technology with it. They've coded it so that it's pretty damn accurate. The sound is very satisfying. I think this is their best module to date. There's a lot of questions I still have with P3 that I had with Spooky when they were having their evolution and their lineups coming out. So I'm very happy that they've got Ian's a great player as well, and they've got a really good team on code, like George said, and you can tell that they're invested in making sure this one is just as successful and theme integrated as Princess Bride was. I think they are really nailing the mark for overall integration of the license. I think Stern's done a great job with that with Elvira, Dungeons and Dragons, and I think P3's really stuck to the lore and giving it the essence of what the license is all about. So kudos to them. I got to play a couple games, one with Wesley from down South Texas, and he was putting on a great game, and he was teaching me about it. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'd like to play it more. I wish there was wish there was more around me to give it a shot. But good job, P3.
Yeah. And just to wrap it up, I mean, I had a blast. I played it. There was I was in the hall like an hour before it opened to the public, and so I played it when it was fresh, and I thought it played great. I think I absolutely think it's the best P3. It's the most fun I've had on a P3 module, that's for sure. But I mean, at the end of the day, though, the P3 system is such a unique pinball experience that you either love it or you're okay with it, or I don't know. And George made a really good point that I think they're now, to me, if I owned a P3, it would be, I would own this and I'd own Final Resistance. Those are the two that really scream to me of like something I would want to own. Yeah, I don't have a deposit down. I don't. But if you're interested, I know Loser Kid has email Loser Kid. I know they have like there's a referral program and all this. So yeah, reach out to them. What else? Let's just because we're just cruising right along with time. It's kind of rapid fire here. Stern had D&D. Stern had D&D. I've streamed the heck out of D&D. George, you own D&D. Check out his streams on Don't Panic Flip. I am curious, George, do you use pin save at all or no? You're doing like you did with Venom where you're just starting from scratch every time, or how are you attacking D&D?
Oh.
Yeah. Do you log in and pick up where you left off?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, good.
Yep.
I know Carl D'Angelo streamed it. I think he has a stream of the complete game. It's like an hour and 45 minutes of just one whole path. But Cary or Hadi, was this your first experience on D&D? Anything stand out to you with D&D? I don't know.
You know, my first experience was with you at the Stern
That's
Factory
right.
on D&D.
You were there. You saw me blow it up.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you're right. Hadi, had you played it before or no?
Yeah, I played it locally. They got a pro in, and I love the format or the layout. I think Brian, Eddie, and Dwight really took the Venom sort of thought process and put it on steroids with D&D. I love having like little items for your characters. Like I see the little purple weapon that I have when I log in. It's great. I think it's and it's an original story, which is super cool. And I hope that they're doing that with more of their licenses going forward if they don't have enough source material or they want to try something new. So great job, Dwight and Brian, and everybody at Stern.
Cool Toys did not stream this, but what am I doing? I should be pulling up your stuff, George. What am I doing? I'm being selfish.
You pull up yours.
Yeah, man. D&D is D&D. I hope people have played it by now. I hope there's people that own this game. I'm having a lot of fun with the game. I mean, George, you've had it now a while now. Quick review, overall thoughts on D&D.
And quick review.
Yeah. You haven't sold it, so that says something.
I know
right?
It's gone as of today.
Okay. So yes. Okay. Yeah. So let's, yeah. You feel like you've completed the game? What are your thoughts on it?
So I've done everything that's in the code so far. We know that there's two more major bad guys coming, Balinor and Xanathar.
Yep.
I just sent you the link just that way you have it to the mirror board where I'm keeping track of the current layout or ultimately how it progresses. I love this game. I love this theme. I have played so much D&D since 2003. I have 3.5 is when I got in. I've been playing a bunch of 5. I was even there for 4.0. I know there's some diehard fans out there. The whole card mechanic. I love D&D. Dwight nailed it. Elizabeth Gieske and Dwight, I think, are the development duo that is just destroying this game and doing a fantastic job. I have no real complaints about the game at this point.
That's great. Other stuff, I know, X-Men's there. I know X-Men, I don't know. There's a lot of strong opinions on X-Men. I love the way X-Men shoots. I'm waiting to see. I'm waiting to see what's going on with the code. But the big news with Stern, or kind of the elephant in the room, is Elwin's on deck. Elwin's on deck. He's coming up next. And I think there's a lot of people waiting out on that. King Kong is the rumored release. Hadi, I think you have every Elwin game close to it. I mean,
I don't, but I'm looking to create an Elwyn's Row, and there's also the rumor of Spike 3, this being the first Spike 3 release.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna do it on any pin, you want to do it on an Elwyn. So yeah, excited to see what he's got cooking for King Kong. I know we have other manufacturers to talk about who said save your money.
Yeah,
wait till
we're
you
gonna
see what we got.
we're gonna get to them.
Before we go into all that, you want to talk about the games we played, like ABBA?
Oh yeah, we can real quick. ABBA, we played ABBA, and holy cow. That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say about that, because I think Zax has one, and we might stream it one day. We might.
Well, just to mention this is like he sends me like the bullet points. Hey, we're gonna talk about these more than likely. I saw ABBA on the list, and I was like, ABBA, really?
Yeah.
I don't.
We did play Mad Max. That was cool. I got some
The
footage
homebrew?
of that.
Yeah.
It was the smaller homebrew section.
Yeah.
I wish there was, but they had Greatest Showman, Tony Hawk, and
Zach said none in stock. Never mind. I don't think I'm streaming ABBA. Okay. All right. So,
and Mad Max. I played Blues Brothers. It was Blues Brothers. It was Stars with the ball save. A worse version of Stars, if you can imagine. Not imagine.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Stars is amazing. Let me preface that's one of my favorite Stars. But to make Stars worse, you really have to purposely do it. And it's because it's such a simple layout. But yeah. Anyways.
I played a game of who was it? Crap. I know it was me, and I feel terrible now because I'm trying to. Who was the fourth player? Crap. It was Blues Brothers. It was me and Dennis and Tony. And it was either Tom or Travis. I don't remember whoever the fourth one was, but we started. The joke was, do you think we're going to be able to get through a 4-player game? Do you think we can do it? That was, just do you think we can get through a 4-player game? We got to ball 3. Dennis started a multi-ball. No idea how he did. And what was weird was he kept draining, but it would kick out another ball. We're like, you have a ball save or something. He was player 1. Next thing we know, we look up and player 3's score is going up. So somehow his multi-ball, when he drained, it just started player 2. So what he thought was a ball save was the plunge of player 2. So so basically we got through a 4-player game, but player 2 and player 3 never played their ball 3 because Dennis somehow played that. It was absurd. Pinball Brothers was absurd. But what I need to remind people in chat, Blues Brothers is not for us. It's not for us because we're pinball people, right? Blues Brothers is
open
not for
source.
us.
Fix the code yourself.
Yeah. So, Blues Brothers. What else do we got? Barrels of Fun. Labyrinth was there. They did not announce a new game. They are going to announce a game soon. I don't know, out of the 3 of you guys, I streamed Labyrinth, had a fantastic time with Labyrinth. I'm super impressed with their build quality. I love the way their code was written. It's just Labyrinth itself was not a theme that screamed to me. So I'm real curious to see what the next game will be. I honestly have no idea. But I do think we're going to see something out of them within the next month.
They have a countdown on their page, I think, now on their website. I think it's like 35 days, 34 days or something like that.
Let me pull that up. That's news to me. Cary, strong opinions on Barrels of Fun, or just what are we thinking there?
I'll tell you what. If we can get over 200 viewers again, I'll give you guys a little nugget for their next game.
Oh, he's ready to drop some nuggets. Where's this countdown? I'm not seeing. Oh no, that's okay. So they're doing a thing where if you are a current Labyrinth owner, whether you bought it new or whether you bought it secondhand, if you register your Labyrinth. Let me show this. If you register your Labyrinth within the next 36 days, you will be entered at a chance to win the next game for free. So do we think that this 36 days has anything to do with the announcement of the next game?
I would imagine so.
Okay, so what's 36 days from now? We're looking at end of April? Early would be the first
They're
of May?
talking about the 13th hour on their website. I'm pretty sure that's a Dune reference.
No, that's what. Oh my God, my voice is running. I've been coughing so much. The 13th hour has got to be a reference to Labyrinth because that's the whole rules of the Labyrinth. You have 13 hours to solve the Labyrinth, or else your baby brother becomes one of us forever. But I did think it was pretty funny that Nap decided to involve AI to figure out if there was some kind of connection between that.
Concurrent viewers is at 193. We need 7 more for Cary's Nuggets. Let's get those chicken nuggies out here. I'm ready. Yeah. So third, we get 5 viewers away, 4 viewers away. Holy cow. Barrels of Fun. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what's next. I know Labyrinth sold incredibly well. It kind of comes back to, we're talking about the trust that some of these pinball manufacturers are starting to gain with people, that you're going to have, if you buy, trust that it's going to be a well-built game, it's going to be supported. And overall, I mean, I really think Barrels of Fun has earned a lot of respect in the overall hobby. So I'm excited. I'm really excited to see what's next. And we need 4 more people to watch this stream.
Labyrinth has been used in a good many a tournament, so they know how to make a pin that can be used on a widespread population of the pinball community at home, and it's really good for tournaments too, because there are a lot of settings you can implement to make sure it's not a long player.
I know Carl D'Angelo owns one, and he still owns it. Like, he really, I don't know, that says a lot to me, that if me and my brother can have a blast on Labyrinth, but then somebody like a Carl D'Angelo who can wizard mode anything is having a great time, that says a lot. We're at 202.
Right.
We're at 2.
All
Let's
right.
get those nuggets out here, Cary. What do you got for us? What do you got?
Might not be a turd.
So their next game will have over 20 coils in it.
What? 20?
Over 20 coils
That's crazy.
in it.
Wow. Okay.
So that kind of gives you an idea of like what the hell is going to be going on in this game where you've got 20 different coils in there.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Cary. Fantastic. All right. I'd say that's good for Barrels of Fun. Let's go. Let's get to the meat and potatoes of one of the most ridiculous moments, I think, at TPF, which, I've listened to. I will say, since Jack Winery told us all on stage, don't spend another dime until you've seen Harry Potter, right? He said, don't spend another dime on I'm assuming on a pinball machine since you see Harry Potter. I have not spent a dime on another pinball machine. I don't know. Overall thoughts on, was that smart? Was that good? Was that, what are our thoughts?
I would love to deep dive on this.
Oh, okay.
But so let's just does anybody think that was planned?
No.
No. Oh, no. No.
No, there's no way. Jersey Jack has never made an announcement like that. It's always been a big old boom. Instead, they decided did it kind of like a splash in a pan type of thing. And I think a lot of people, or I don't know how many people were in the crowd when they saw that, because all I know is that I got it sent to me like crazy. That once it got recorded and put out there, that I was getting sent to it. And it's one of those where I'm just like, that you didn't get a reaction from the audience, because I think the audience was also kind of like,
what?
Did he just say that?
Yeah.
But should we clap, or was that a mistake? I mean, I kind of thing, because the way he said it, I think a little bit of it is how you go about like proclaiming it to the public. You don't just nonchalantly claim that your biggest license is next. You got to like build it up, kind of thing.
Sure.
It's like, so I think it's just the way that it was presented was very poor, and I kind of question.
Let me ask this question, because they were there to showcase Avatar. I know I've streamed Avatar. I had a lot of fun with Avatar. I have my own personal opinions on Avatar. George, when we met at TPF and talked, the game that you actually wanted to talk about was Avatar. So your mind was on Avatar.
Completely.
And did your mind change when he told you about Harry Potter? I know you're a big Harry Potter fan. Or before we dive down that, I mean, what are your? Are you still excited about Avatar? What are your thoughts there?
At the end of the day, everyone knew it was Harry Potter. Confirming it really didn't do anything different for me.
Okay.
It was the worst kept secret, because Who's Cam and Cow?
Yeah,
Spoiled
Joe,
it for everybody on Facebook like a year and a half ago. So I don't think it made that big of a difference, but at the same time, are people now legitimately kind of holding money aside, and will that impact Avatar sales? Yeah, I think so.
Yes, I absolutely think it does. There was a lovely couple that I was talking to in line, and they may be in chat. I don't know, but they were very much thinking about Avatar being that Avatar would potentially be their next game, and it may still be their next game. But I know the wife was saying like, well, but now that we know that it's Harry Potter, my granddaughter loves Harry Potter. Like, we're gonna have to get Harry Potter. So you could tell they're having the conversation of, if we're buying a game this year, do we go ahead and pull the trigger on Avatar and wait a year to buy Harry Potter, or do we stop, pause and get Harry Potter as soon as we can? It's like that was the thing. Obviously, Jack's goal was to say, don't buy King Kong until you see this. Don't buy Barrels of Fun. Don't buy, don't do this. I don't think he realized, though, that it also kind of made everybody that was thinking about buying their own products hesitate. So it was unfortunate. And I doubt the people at JJP were too happy with that. And I doubt the distros that currently have other JJP games were too happy about it either. But I don't know. So with all that said, Harry Potter, do we care? Are we excited? Whose thoughts? George perked up. Harry Potter. Is this like, what is it? I don't know. Is this the second coming? What do we got, George? I mean,
do we care? It's the second best-selling book series of all time. It has its own theme park.
Yeah.
It's relevant again. It's coming back around again because HBO is doing is committed to a 7-season series with we're gonna do the books justice. Like it. I held it up earlier. I don't know if you could tell. Like, I have so many Harry Potter tattoos. Yep. Like that's just one. There's a lot more. I love Harry Potter. I'm so excited for this. It is the dream theme, and it's not just that it's a dream theme for me. It is the second best. It is second only to the Bible in sales.
Really?
Like, that's how significant Harry Potter. It has sold over 500 million copies. Also, I'm going to say it right now. No matter what Zach says, it should be the book art, not movie. It is. Don't go with the movie theme, please. I mean, it's already way too late in the process. But books.
Okay. I'm gonna have to trust you on that. Of course, here I am Googling it, and list of top selling individual books. I'm assuming so. Okay, I got a side tangent
talking about
here.
The series.
So the series as a whole, because I see Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone 120 million. So quick side note, I'm in a book club with my family. All right. I'm in a book club with my family. My brother-in-law suggested Tale of Two Cities. Okay. And I spent like 15 hours of my life listening to that audiobook. I did not enjoy it at all. I did not enjoy it at all. So if anybody in chat is wanting to read Tale of Two Cities, I think I just lost a friend with George because apparently George liked it. But holy cow, Tale of Two Cities, which apparently is one of the best-selling books of all time. Oh God. Anyways, do you need to defend it? I'm just an idiot, George. That's fine.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. No. That's good. Yeah.
Okay.
It's
You
old,
need to
man.
get your frontal lobe developed.
Apparently, man. Apparently. So Harry Potter. Cary, are you excited about Harry Potter? Is that well liked in your household?
Absolutely not excited about it at all. I mean, I get that people love it, and people. Yeah. I know adult people who dress up and do everything. It's it's one of those things, right? You do you kind of thing. I have just never had any kind of attraction to Harry Potter as a series, even from like growing up and with it being. I remember it being an issue in the library because it was like witchcraft related or whatever, going through that whole debacle. But as Harry Potter in general, I think what I'm more excited about is how big of a license it is, like George was talking about, how popular it is. And so when you have something as massive like that, I don't think we've had another license that I can think of that's this massive, that is going to be bringing people into pinball. So that's where I see the good part about this, the fact that whether I like it or not doesn't make a difference.
Sure.
It's just the fact that Harry Potter in general is such a massive property, and that's going to be drawing attention, kind of thing. So I think if anything, it's going to draw attention to pinball as well now.
I was talking to somebody. It might have been Travis. I don't remember who said it, but basically the question was, we got a juggernaut of Keith Elwin releasing his next game, and then you have freaking Harry Potter, right? So these are both coming out at the same time. Sure, there will be people that get both, no problem, but there will be people that will have to make that decision. And I think Travis actually said, he goes, honestly, Stern wants Jersey Jack to crush it, right? Because if Jersey Jack sells a gazillion of these, that's a gazillion people that are outside of pinball potentially that are buying their first machine. And who has the biggest catalog of pinball machines? Stern. And we all know once you buy your first game, the chances of you getting game number 2 are way higher than it was to get game number 1. So that's something where I think I agree that Harry Potter could bring just eyes to pinball and could grow the pinball hobby in general, which is awesome. So totally valid point there. Hadi, is that something your girls are into, or is Harry Potter going to be your first JJP? What's going on?
Yeah, no, they're too young for it. I'm excited to see what JJP does with all the assets. I'm glad they got all of them. We talked about it when we were slogging through ABBA, but it's like like Cary said, it's one of the last big licenses left.
Yeah,
we have maybe a Mario, maybe a Pokemon, and people in chat talking about Back to the Future would sell more. You guys need to step back and just objectively look at the license of Harry Potter. I love Venom. I think Venom's the greatest theme in the world, but do I objectively think that it's going to knock something like Harry Potter out of the park? No, of course not. Obviously, Back to the Future is a gargantuan compared to Venom, but it's going to be great. I think it's going to sell a lot, like everybody said. I hope they have 3 trims. I hope they have one for the ultra diehard wealthy collector. I hope they have one for the people that want an LE, a special edition. And I really hope they have one that's 10K or less if possible. I doubt they will, for operators, because if you have a Harry Potter in your bar, arcade, you are going to bring in so many people, and you are going to hopefully expand eyes on the hobby. Will they turn around and buy a $10,000 machine? No, but they're going to come to your establishment and play all these other pinball machines and get people into it. And maybe those people grow up and have good memories of it and decide they want to keep the hobby going and buy some when they get older and they have adult money. So Harry Potter is nothing but a good thing for pinball. You can yawn all you want. You can be sarcastic and cynical, but it's a good thing.
Yeah. Well said. I know I asked my wife a few years ago when I got into it, I was like, hey, if I was ever to buy a pinball machine based solely on theme, what would I buy? And without missing a beat, she goes, Harry Potter. So I'm excited to get this in our house. Obviously, we'll stream it as soon as we can. Yeah, that's where I'm scared. I'm scared. Harry Potter, to me, I think it's good. I think it's great. I only read 3 books because reading's hard. And then, but the movies I saw. Sorry, I love making comments and then seeing George twitch. It's the best. It's so. I only read the first 3 books. I should probably finish and read all of them, but I have seen all the movies. Go ahead, George.
You just stopped at Prisoner of Azkaban? Like, that's it. That's we're gonna make it to Prisoner of Azkaban. It's a cliffhanger. I'm never gonna figure out the rest. It's fine.
Well, this was back when the books were coming out, and then I just was a little behind on reading them, and then it's like, oh, they're making movies. Okay, yeah, piece of cake. But I know it's a fantastic story, and I'm excited to see. I am a little worried if he said he has all the movies, all the assets. How do you fit 8 movies, 7 books worth of stuff into one pinball machine and make it cohesive? How do you, Avatar has 32 modes or something. I don't remember. It's a gazillion. And it's
imagine the size of the poster that we're going to be getting with the game to outline where we're supposed to
go. Yeah.
You got to have 2 pinball machines. You got to split it up.
I don't know. But hey, though, that's the one good thing, or one of the good things like I know when I had Hobbit had 30 modes or something, and yeah, you don't get sick of it because there's so much to do in it. So if they as long as the modes aren't there for the sake of being there, if they're fun, enjoyable modes and they feel different, Especially if this is a story-based game. I want, if I'm playing a scene where I don't even know, name a scene, George, of literally any Harry Potter scene and explain how you could make it a mode. I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah, so the way I would chase Horcruxes as the primary component of the game.
Okay.
And then after that, I would have unique scenes from each of the different books. So let's say the dragon scene from the fourth book, where Harry is in the Triwizard Cup, or there's 3 different phases on the Triwizard Cup. So you'd have like a mini wizard mode where you have to survive Triwizard Cup and go through the different challenges of the Triwizard Cup. But the whole time you'd be working on completing and destroying the 7 Horcruxes, so that way you can then get to a final showdown with
Voldemort.
Oh my god, I can't think of Voldemort. Thank you.
Let me do that one for you, George.
Yeah. Just go ahead and give me a main character name. I appreciate that. I haven't thought about how to do the rules though a lot at all. No way.
Or this is a good mode. Thing one pointed out in chat. We could do the one mode of the one scene where Harry waves his wand. Chat's so great. Chat is so great. I don't know. I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited about the game. It's a lot of pressure, clearly. Tom, I saw Tom Fox Cities was in chat, which I'm surprised you're still awake, Tom. It's good to see you. But he made a comment about Star Wars. You know, Star Wars is such a massive theme and did so much for pinball. I know it sold incredibly well, but a lot of us pinball people, Star Wars, the game was brutal. Like the layout was somewhat, like it just wasn't amazing. And so it was kind of a letdown. You know, Star Wars could have been the greatest pinball machine ever, and it was somewhat of a letdown. So I think there's a lot of pressure on the JJP team to do Harry Potter correctly. Cary, I see you unmuted. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, what if it's like Evil Dead, where you first start a game and you can choose between what movie you want to do? I wonder if it's going to be like that with Harry Potter, where it's like, all right, which movie do you want to play?
Sign me up for that.
That's a lot of damn code, though. Oh,
yeah. As long as that's what I would love. I mean, if they have, if there's 7 books, I don't know, maybe they do movies. So you pick one of 8, and then let's say each movie has, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 modes. Great. Let's say there's 40 modes in the game. As long as they don't feel samey, you know, which I know is a lot to do. It's a lot to do. Pinmonk's saying too much to code, you know, like. So let's compare it to D&D. D&D has, I think it's 14 modes in the game, 14 or 15. If you let's pull out that mural board there, George. There's 6 cities. One has 3 modes, so that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. But 2 of the modes have 2 different versions of the mode. That's why I think it's 14 modes plus city dungeons plus wizard modes. So it's doable.
We're at 20 right now, not including the fact that the dungeons have levels and they get more and more, and there's 5 levels to Ritual of the Chosen, and we still need 2 more bad guys added. So it's probably going to end up at like 40 modes in the game.
I think it's doable.
Yeah.
And I do feel, I personally didn't feel that the modes in D&D were samey, personally, but
no.
Okay. All right, is that JJP? Are we good there? Do we have any other final thoughts on JJP? I mean, it's a juggernaut right around the corner. So kind of a wait and see situation, I think.
Is Harry Potter the first pin we get with DLC?
Oh, I don't know. Okay, so we talked about Stern, JJP, Barrels of Fun, P3 Multimorphic, Spooky, Merlin's Arcade, Medieval Madness Merlin's Edition. We talked about Cactus Canyon, the Extended. Did we miss anything? Chat, we missing anything?
Do we need to talk about Pinball Brothers? Predator.
They did. Let me see if I can pull that up. Way to go, Hadi. Way to.
Hey.
I think somebody had a list. I think George, you put together a list.
The Venom Topper for
Venom Topper. Hadi, you bought like 4, right?
Yes,
yeah.
I bought all the Venom Toppers. So if you want one, you got to come to me.
You got to go through. You're the distributor.
Explain all the Venom lore accurately.
I played Venom with Hadi, and Ghost Rider is now in the game, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, super cool. Topper looks great.
I think the big question that is probably on everybody's mind when it comes to Predator is if they're going to have Arnold in there or not.
Yeah.
And
There it
that
is.
was like the big thing. I'm sure, like, everyone was upset when Alien first came out that Ripley wasn't in there. Like, that's the main character. That's why a lot of people love that franchise, is because of Sigourney Weaver, and they implemented her later on in the Ripley edition and everything. But I just hope that they've learned from that misstep and have got Arnold in this one.
This is shout out Nap Arcade, another fantastic source for pinball news. This is on Pinball Brothers LinkedIn, apparently. First package of global marketing material of our upcoming game just received a green light from Disney. We're officially 100% on track towards a great product launch. So they've locked it in with Disney, which means they got the license, and this is what they're showing. So it's either Jungle Book or it's Predator. I don't know, but the big rumor on the street is it's Predator. It's Predator. Okay. I mean, it could be fun. I'll give it a shot. I enjoyed Aliens. I know we talked earlier about the layout of Aliens, but I loved the way that they did the rules and the audio package. David Thiel crushed it. Yeah, Predator could be cool. I don't really know what else to say. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, chat. We have just a couple minutes before we'll plug this up. Do we have anything, chat, that we need to talk about? Any questions? You guys have been reading chat. Was there anything unanswered or anything else that we should point out? Or
quick thing on the tournaments.
Oh, that's right. Yep. Go ahead.
Yeah, just a shout out to the TPF tournament organizers, Kevin Stone, the Dronettes, Lewis Marks, Ken Kemp, everybody that's involved. It was a great time. We'll do more on my tournament podcast, but we changed from limited entry to match play, and it was really nice because it allowed all the tournament players who normally don't have a chance because you're stuck up there trying to get your entries in, an opportunity to enjoy TPF and enjoy the festival and go down and see the games and play with everybody. Big shout out to Preston Moncla of Pinball Mafia for winning the TPF tournament, Texas guy. I think your finalists were him, Garrett, Nick Mueller, and then I forgot the
Jack.
fourth person. Jack, that's right, Jack Revenue. So 3 Texas guys and Nick, but really good job in changing the format, and I think everybody was pleased with it. So kudos to all the tournament players, directors, and everybody that helped make it run very, very smooth. And I hope to see everybody at the next one.
Yeah. I commentated a little bit on that with Jamie from Wormhole and had a blast.
Right.
It was, and I do think the tournament players that Tom, obviously Fox Cities Pinball, that to actually see them and experience, like, that's what I felt bad for a lot of tournament players, that they're just stuck in that room the whole time. But the way that it was scheduled and everything was awesome. So I hope they keep doing that. Somebody had said road trip. Road trip was not there. It was not there. So I don't know if that's red flag or just they just weren't there. I don't know, but it wasn't there. That was one of the games I wanted to play, but I did not have a chance to play it. Yeah, Cliff B, I saw everyone on screen several times except Joel. I don't. Sorry, man. I feel bad about that. It's weird. It's awesome being at these shows, but I find myself, I walk around a lot or try to get from point A to point B. But the best time, which I should have done more, is just stand in line to play games, because that's when I think people feel the most comfortable to like lean over and talk to you or say something or whatever. But yeah, I appreciate everybody that did say hi. And yeah, it was a ton of fun. I don't know. We'll start wrapping it up then. Talking about Joel being a urinal celebrity. Yeah, there was somebody on Pinside that said they peed right next to me and wanted to tell me that they were a fan of my stuff, but felt that it wasn't the right time. So shout out to that guy. I don't really know.
Hey man, you check out those pin lights?
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah. But no, I think that's pretty cool. Okay. Yeah, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. We'll go in reverse order. So Cary, feel free to plug away, and any final thoughts, go for it.
I was trying to see if there's any other topics we could talk about, but I guess we'll just go ahead and wrap it up then.
Well, you did say if we have time that we need to kill, you have dogs.
I don't want to bring the puppies on this.
Go get the dogs. Yeah.
My voice is already starting to go out anyways. Yeah. But no, guys, thanks for tuning in tonight. Glad that everybody's here to talk about what's going on at Texas Pinball Festival. Obviously, Cary Hadi. You can find me on YouTube, youtube.com/Cary Hadi. I talk and do everything pinball.
Yeah. And I do, real quick, fantastic festival, right? I mean, TPF, I know TPF is the home show for both Cary and Hadi. Hadi, you live like 2 seconds from the place, but fantastic show. Like the 2 shows that I can go to 2 shows a year. That's what I've negotiated with my wife, and I go to Texas and I go to Chicago, and fantastic show. Yeah, everybody that runs it and everybody at TPF, be proud of what you do. It's a fantastic show. But Hadi, go ahead.
My name's Hadi, Frisco Pinball. You can check out my link tree. There's no OnlyFans there, but it has a link to all my socials. But yeah, Hadi, Frisco Pinball. I stream pinball irregularly. We're trying to get that more consistent. Casino content, if you want to watch me play slots, IRL stuff. But also we have a tournament-focused podcast called Wizards and Warriors with my co-host Joseph J. Land. I hope you can check it out on my YouTube channel, Frisco Pinball, or on Spotify. And yeah, it was really good to see everybody at TPF. Thanks for everybody coming up and just making the event a great festival. And I hope everybody enjoyed Frisco. The weather was great, and you got some good barbecue.
I did, yeah. Hard 8, man. I ate there 2 times in a row. I will tell you, if you guys go to Hard 8, remember this. This is lock this away. Get the ribeye. Get a steak. Go to Hard 8. Next time you go, get a steak. It's not barbecue, but it's really freaking good. It's really, really freaking good. I'm looking at Nap Arcade here, just not to interrupt you, George, but the only thing that I'm seeing is Dutch Pinball. Dutch Pinball was not there. So Adventures of Alice in Wonderland, that game was not there. They were at Chicago. They weren't there. So yeah, that's the only other pinball manufacturer that I can think of that really didn't have a presence at TPF. Otherwise, I think we kind of covered all this. Oh, this thing, this helicopter game.
I played that.
I did not play this. I know, George, you had put it on your list. What's this thing about?
So actually, that's made by the guy who got me into pinball.
Oh,
his name is Hans. He's out here in Fort Collins. There's been one at Pinball Jones forever. He brought 2 of them to the show. That's Hans.
That's Hans. Okay.
He brought 2 of them to the show, and they had lines the entire time.
Yeah.
It's such a cool game. Hans is a ridiculously cool person. So, yeah, it's a really fun setup.
Let's explain this. How do I play this game? Up, down.
Okay, so yeah, go ahead. No, Cary, you do it.
No, I mean, like, I played it literally once, and once was enough for me to realize that the controls are not the way I would prefer them to be. Even certain video games, when it comes to flying, I prefer my controls to be inverted. And this is, I guess, the controls that my brain was having difficulty computing which way was up and which way was down. So it's my fault on that. I'm not blaming the game for it. It's just that the controls were off-putting to me. So go on, George.
Oh no, that's the first question you get in any flying game is, do you want the controls inverted, right? Like, you have that switch that allows you to do it with whichever way makes your brain work nicely. But in this one, you have 2 controls, one that is up and down and one that goes forward or controls your speed. And as you're going around in a circle, there's a whole bunch of little metal rods at different heights. So as you're going in a circle, you want to make contact with those. And you score points based on how frequently, how often you make contact, and whether or not you miss ones or get them in a row. I think there's streaks and things as you go around. It's a really clever, very fun game that is one of those, like, quick to figure out, but it takes a while to master.
Yeah. There was right next to the game of the show, Blues Brothers. There was an ice cold beer, right?
Yeah.
And that's the with the I don't know, the rod and the ball, and you just kind of try to go up and drop it through the different holes. Similar thing. It's like, this game should not be this fun, but man, I wish I was playing that instead of pinball, instead of Blues Brothers.
Yeah, I would have definitely rather played this over and over compared to Blues Brothers. I can see
cool.
it being a quarter muncher for sure. And I think they were, what, $5K? Is that what the price was for them?
Yep.
That's pretty cool. So this guy just makes them in his basement? I mean, where are these getting made?
He's got a lab set up out in his garage. So
that's awesome.
He just pumps these things out. He's got a good number of orders. The cool thing is that because he hand builds them, they never have issues. Like it's something you put on location, and the one at Pinball Jones constantly being played. Like it just eats up quarters. It's a really cool machine.
That's really neat. That's really neat. Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. George, I was interrupting you. Yeah. Plug away.
My name is George. I stream on a channel called Don't Panic Flip. You can find it. I'm on Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all the things. If you just Google it, you'll find. Don't Panic Flip places, and I stream on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. And I'm working on a fun side quest, I'll call it, with an application called Death Lab that uses AI to simulate battles between any two characters. It generates video. It's narrated by Morgan Freeman, and it figures out who would win in an imaginary battle and presents you a video of it happening. For example, you could have, and in fact, this did happen. It was John Wick versus Godzilla, and John Wick was armed with a bottle cap and flicked the bottle cap through Godzilla's eye and took Godzilla down. And this is all figured out on the fly by AI, video generated story and everything. It is so much fun. It's also been fantastic to learn how to code and develop with AI, making all of these decisions on the fly and coming up with stats and over-unders for who's likely to win going into it. There's gambling coming, and I'll be introducing the proverbial bad guy here, likely in the next month or so.
You're a nerd, man. That's no,
Oh, yeah, totally.
no, fantastic. I've seen some of it, and it's absurd. It's absurd and also very entertaining.
Yeah.
And no, George, I appreciate you, man. I really appreciate you and what you bring to this hobby.
Back at you.
Yeah. And I'm Joel. Obviously, I do this. This is the Flipping Out Pinball stream. I do it every Wednesday. So thanks for everybody that's here doing it live. If you're watching this afterwards on YouTube, leave a comment, like all the stuff. Let us know where we're wrong, where we're right, whatever you agree, disagree. That's what the comment section is for. I do know, yes, hopefully I'll have a chance to stream a lot of the games that we talked about tonight. We're close to the 6,000 followers, so please sub there. And then I'm trying to think of what Evil Dead. I filmed an Evil Dead tutorial last Friday. So it's on Zach's plate. Zach does all the editing. Thank you, Zach. So hopefully that'll be posted here on the Flipping Out YouTube channel sometime soon. But I think Zach's on vacation. So hopefully coming up soon. But hey, I appreciate everybody in chat. I appreciate the three of you guys. And yeah, catch us all next week or later this week if we're streaming. And everybody in chat, have a great night.
Bye, everyone.
See you guys.
See ya.
Thanks.